conformity with the state of Wisconsin's open meeting law. Before we begin, I'd like to ask if there's anyone, since we're getting into the election season, anybody in the stands that is running for any local office. Could you please stand up and introduce yourself?
Hi, good evening. My name is Chris Thompson. I'm running for Alderman in District 2 from the city of West Bend.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. We'll begin with the consent agenda. Entertain a motion. Supervisor Schleif, Supervisor Sorcy. Any changes, deletions? Seeing none, we'll just vote on this. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we'll move on to personal appearances, letters, and other communications. Commendation of Craig. I'm not even going to try to pronounce your last name again because I mess it up every time. Planning and Parks Golf Division. Huh? Me? Sure. Craig, will come up? Sorry, but that's why I gotta put you on the spot here.
So we have a commendation for Craig Cernajeski,
There we go.
who's our golf pro. And I'm gonna let Jamie do a little bit of talking about why exactly we're here. 'Cause it was her suggestion and idea for some of the great work Craig's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I realize we do a lot of commendations for a lot of really important work, but these guys, and Mike is here as well from the course. Drew couldn't be here tonight, but them along with Craig as their leader really have been doing some phenomenal work out at the golf course. This month, the Land Use and Planning Committee is going to see that shown in the numbers as we not only take a look at how 2020 played out, but also how the economic impact study that Economic Development Washington County did on this course for Washington County and the city of Hartford, and how that work is translating. But the mission-driven values that these guys have out at that course. So I really, slides under the radar because it is golf, but really, truly, I want the board to know that, and Josh to know that no men are created equal. And I know, you got it. These guys really are working their tails off out there for the taxpayers of Washington County in their own way. So wanted to bring them forward.
Thank you. All right, so let me read the commendation. Commendation of Craig Cernajeski. Whereas the Washington County Golf Course has a vision to be a premier public golf course and works specifically to be recognized as a family-friendly and community-oriented operation. And whereas the Wisconsin section of the Professional Golfers Association of America has awarded Craig, PGA Head Professional and Clubhouse Supervisor, their 2021 Player Development Award for achievement in the area of player development and growth of the game. And whereas Craig and his team have built premier Washington County golf course programming to include beginning players, women, youth, seniors, and veterans. And whereas the Wisconsin PGA agrees that a positive impact on player development programs have a positive impact on the financial growth of a facility. And according to the most recent financials, Washington County Golf Course demonstrated an economic impact on tax collections over the next 10 years, estimated at $1 million. Now, therefore, I, Josh Shulman, Washington County Executive, hereby commend Craig for his commitment to excellence of the game of golf, exemplary service, and terrific accomplishments. I clearly did not write that. In the professional golf industry that contribute positively to our Washington County golf course and the quality of life in Washington County. Congrats, Craig. Thanks for all your work.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Say anything?
Yeah, obviously the PGA awarded me because I'm the head golf professional, but this is more of a statement of how well my team works out there at the golf course. It is them who kind of go behind the radars and deal more with the customers. We are working hand in hand with our Ladies Learn to Golf, our junior programs, our Practice to Play, the Special Olympics of Hartford, the Disabled Veterans of Washington County and the surrounding areas. So my team all works together to get these programs together to get more people out to the golf course to enjoy the game and to enjoy such a great atmosphere and golf course that we have here in the county. So thank you, and thank you guys as well.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Thank you.
And I want to let you know, those guys do a great job at the training. Craig took about 5 minutes with me this summer, turned me from a 23 handicap to a scratch golfer. Consideration upon request reading of resolutions and ordinances. 2020 Resolution 53, commendation of Thomas Abbott. Take motion. Supervisor Bossert, Supervisor Smisek. Would you like to read that?
Whereas Thomas Abbott has contributed 31 years of loyal service to the citizens of Washington County, and whereas Thomas Abbott has chosen to retire from his present position of Detective 2 in the Sheriff's Office, now therefore be it resolved that the Washington County Board of Supervisors pause in its deliberations to pay tribute and to commend Thomas Abbott for his 31 years of meritorious service. Be it further resolved that on behalf of all citizens of Washington County, this body does herewith extend to him heartfelt thanks for his many accomplishments and successes. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to Thomas Abbott as a token of appreciation on the part of this board.
Stand with our normal. (2020) Resolution 54, commendation of Honorable Dolores A. Baumrad. Supervisor Dice. Supervisor Vespalic. Okay.
Whereas Dolores A. Baumrad has contributed 30 years of loyal service to the citizens of Washington County, and whereas Dolores A. Baumrad has chosen to retire from her present position of Judicial Court Commissioner with the Clerk of Courts Office, now therefore be it resolved that the Washington County Board of Supervisors pause in its deliberations to pay tribute and to commend Dolores A. Baumrad for her 30 years of meritorious service. Be it further resolved that on behalf of all citizens of Washington County, this body does herewith extend to her heartfelt thanks for her many accomplishments and successes. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to Dolores Baumrad as a token of appreciation on the part of this board.
Thank you. I have truly been blessed with the privilege of serving Washington County as Judicial Court Commissioner in Family Court for 30 years and serving the children and families of this county during that time. Thank you for this recognition. I'm truly honored and grateful.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Twenty twenty Resolution 55, commendation of Gary Hayter. Supervisor Guzzi. Supervisor Gauch. Is Gary's not here?
No.
Okay.
Whereas Gary Hayter has contributed 20 years of loyal service to the citizens of Washington County, and whereas Gary Hayter has chosen to retire from his present position of Corrections Officer 2 in the Sheriff's Office, now therefore be it resolved that the Washington County Board of Supervisors pause in its deliberations to pay tribute and to commend Gary Hayter for his 20 years of meritorious service. Be it further resolved that on behalf of all citizens of Washington County, this body does herewith extend to him heartfelt thanks for his many accomplishments and successes. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to Gary Hayter as a token of appreciation on the part of this board.
Twenty twenty Resolution 56, commendation of Mary Kneck. Supervisor Dice, Supervisor Hartwig.
Whereas Mary Kneck has contributed 30 years of loyal service to the citizens of Washington County, and whereas Mary Kneck has chosen to retire from her present position of accounting specialist in the Human Services Department, now therefore be it resolved that the Washington County Board of Supervisors pause in its deliberations to pay tribute and to commend Mary Kneck for her 30 years of meritorious service. Be it further resolved that on behalf of all citizens of Washington County, this body does herewith extend to her heartfelt thanks for her many accomplishments and successes. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to Mary Kneck as a token of appreciation on the part of this board.
Twenty twenty Resolution 57, commendation of Nancy Schweikel. Supervisor Guzzi, Supervisor Markwart.
Whereas Nancy Schweckel has contributed 20 years of loyal service to the citizens of Washington County, and whereas Nancy Schweckel has chosen to retire from her present position of Corrections Officer 2 in the Sheriff's Office, now therefore be it resolved that the Washington County Board of Supervisors pause in its deliberations to pay tribute and to commend Nancy Schweckel for her 20 years of meritorious service. Be it further resolved that on behalf of all citizens of Washington County, this body does herewith extend to her heartfelt thanks for her many accomplishments and successes. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to Nancy Schweckel as a token of appreciation on the part of this board.
That's over 130 years of service to the citizens of Washington County for those 5 individuals. Thank you. 2020 Resolution 58, advisory resolution supporting the transfer of the fiscal responsibility of subsidized guardianships to the state, similar to the Adoption Assistance Program. Take a motion, Supervisor Smisek, Supervisor Dice. Are there any questions regarding this? Seeing none, we can vote on this electronically. Oh, Tim, did you have Tim, did you have something? Okay. Supervisor Garath and Supervisor Mary, could you text in your vote? Okay. Motion passes unanimously. 2020 Resolution 59, advisory resolution supporting pending legislation to amend hearing timeframes for certain juvenile cases. Take a motion, Supervisor Gundrum, Krieger Gundrum, sorry. Supervisor Conrath. Any questions on this one? Seeing none, we'll vote on this electronically. Did it go? Motion passes unanimously. 2020 Resolution 60, relocation order, County Trunk Highway M. Supervisor Schleif, Supervisor Gonring. Any questions regarding this one? Seeing none, we'll vote on this electronically. Motion passes unanimously. 2020 Resolution 61, resolution authorizing the county to enter into a license agreement to install and operate a two-sided message board on county property. Supervisor Mahalik, Supervisor Hartwig. Any questions? Supervisor Mahalik.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This passed unanimously in the Administrative Committee. We do have one of these by the same company in the city of Hartford. It serves the city well. We get time on the board, as will the county, and it does provide actually some revenue to the city, as it will to the county. The county executive, Josh Schoman, will actually be finalizing the contract, but I would urge its passage. Thank you.
Supervisor Krebs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. How long is the expected contract for this?
A 20-year license agreement right now. 20 years?
Okay, would the contract include language at the end of that, that this company is responsible for the removal of it? Yes. Okay.
Yes, down to the footings and everything.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no more further questions, we'll vote on this electronically. Unanimous. Motion passes unanimously. 2020 Resolution 62, Election Reform Advisory Resolution. Supervisor Bossert, Supervisor Vispalak. Any questions, any comments? Supervisor Bossert.
So we discussed this at executive committee, and towards the end, Josh listed 6 items that we were planning to recommend to the state. Josh, do you have that list handy?
It's in the resolution.
Is it in the when I
Yep.
looked, I didn't see it there. If I missed it, I apologize.
Yep.
Okay. No, yep, all right, there it is. I missed it. All right, so can we add to that a 7th one then? We're seeing out of Brown County and specifically the city of Green Bay, where it looks like a third-party nonprofit basically took over the election for the city of Green Bay. And, you know, they provided a lot of funding to the city of Green Bay to do that as well. It looks like it kind of mixes things up. You know, elections personnel, the county clerk's office is meant to be a neutral entity. And to have a third party that's funded by, you know, who knows who with whatever agenda involved in that election process, in my mind, convolutes things. So I'm going to make a motion that we add to that third-party money should not be being given to any city or county clerk's office towards running elections, nor should any personnel staffing.
Okay, it's a motion on the floor to amend. Do I hear a second? Supervisor Vispalak. Okay, do you have that?
Clarification. I mean, you receive grant funding from the feds, from the state,
You
Yeah,
said
At private, yeah.
Private funding.
for third-party assistance. I mean, can you specify what that means in particular?
Okay.
Money or staffing. So if, you know, let's say some millionaire with his agenda creates some sort of nonprofit group and wants to give funding,
Was it
Eh.
specific, is it specific to
funding or staffing.
But when you say staffing, what does that mean?
That means people in, so if you picture like our county clerk's office, there's a counter. And the public stays on one side of the counter, the other side of the counter is our county clerk personnel. There should be no private personnel going to the other side of that counter. Now, that's a visualization, but it gives you the idea that we should not have private people who are being paid by a third party running our election instead of our county officials. Now, if a county,
Yeah.
you know, if our county clerk's office hires people,
But that's third
Well,
contract with third-party individuals that
but that's you contracting with them. We're paying them. These are in Green Bay. These were people the city was not paying. Instead, this agency was providing them to the city of Green Bay to run their election. And the city clerk, it appears, was so ethically,
Challenge.
she was so ethically in such a dilemma that she just took a leave of absence because she wanted nothing to do with it. She thought it was ethically wrong, if I'm understanding the situation correctly.
Okay. All right. County Executive Shellman.
Thank you. Could we take about a 3-minute recess just to try to work out some language and then give something for
Sure.
you to all to consider? So-
Okay. 3-minute recess. Oh, I can turn myself on. Oh. All right, we're going to go back into session. We're going to begin. County Clerk Reichert will read off the amendment.
On line 24, we'll be removing and adding another point of 7, so and 7. And the information will read as private entity contributions to election administration.
Okay, I'm going to have County Executive Showman speak to that a bit.
So just to be clear, what this resolution is doing is providing a mechanism for the county to lobby on behalf of the county board to the legislature for these types of reforms. So it's very generic language, but it's enough for us to be able to take it to our legislative delegation and make the point. That's why it's as vague as it is.
Adding point 7, private entity contributions to election administration.
Is that good? Okay. And who was the second? Good. Okay. All right. Okay. We'll vote on the amendment as soon as we're ready. Okay. We'll vote electronically on the amendment only. Unanimous. Motion passes unanimously. Any further discussion on the resolution?
Well, I did want to speak before we took the vote, but it's okay. No, not on the, is it just the amendment we passed just now? Okay. On the actual, the entire, all right. I will express that when I read this again, the first whereas clause, yes, the first whereas clause gave me pause because after our county clerk's presentation on the election process in Washington County, we do a fantastic job here. So I don't see any erosion of confidence in our election system in our county. And as far as national and state, I hear one side and then I hear the other side saying just the opposite, to the point where you don't know what to believe anymore. That's where I am at some of these items. However, with that being said, I believe when you have a process such as this, there's always room for improvement. And when I look at these now 7 items, to me, it's looking at our process and saying we can improve them by looking at these different areas. So for that reason, I will be voting in favor of this advisory resolution. Thank you.
Supervisor Schleif.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have 2 questions. First of all, I attended the Railroad Consortium meeting today in Ozaukee County and got talking about what's going on in the county with one of the county supervisors from the Ozaukee County Board. And I mentioned that we were having this vote tonight, and he said, I wish we did stuff like that here, so the other counties around us take notice of this type of thing, and in a way they're envious. So I wanted to add that. Also, he was interested in seeing our discussions, your presentation. Can the executive meeting be accessed on YouTube? Okay, so I'll send them the link. Thank you.
Yeah, I would just like to also reflect Kristen's comments about Washington County and our integrity here after that presentation too. I, physically stayed here to stay focused and really pay attention. It was, a gap of knowledge for me. And that, Washington County, was, our elections were secure. And a couple of my constituents did email and say, hey, asked me to vote no because they watched that video and that YouTube. But also, I think, yes, maybe ours are, but we don't know statewide, and just to, due diligence to ensure regardless of which way, you vote, that things are done, by the law across the state. And also a constituent went further to say, I just would like to speak for them, that a bigger concern of theirs regarding elections too, and making sure that they're going to be fair in the future, is the redistricting, and that the redistricting be done nonpartisan. So I just wanted to be that constituent's voice.
Thank you. I echo what Supervisor Dice said. We're not casting any aspersions. We're looking at, there are a number of issues that we can address as state and national that could be problematic. And every time we're always looking to improve. So this is a resolution we need to improve. And that's what we do here in Washington County. We look at things and try to make them better. So, sorry, Supervisor Marquardt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would also point out that despite how secure we run things and don't have errors in our county, in many ways, our citizens are affected by what happens in the rest of the state and the nation as well. So it's in all of our interests to make sure that these processes are upheld around the state, in other counties and municipalities as well, so that all of our voices are properly heard. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no further questions, we can vote on this electronically. This is the resolution as amended. Okay. Who's missing? Somebody on the floor?
Yeah, someone on the floor.
Make sure you voted. Okay. Got it? Unanimous? Motion passes unanimously. 2020 Resolution 63, grant of easement, WE Energy County Campus. Supervisor Gonring, Supervisor Guzzi. Any questions on this one? Pretty straightforward. Supervisor Mahalik, wait till I hit.
This was just passed unanimously by the administrative committee. It's a very, very small easement. I believe it's 8 foot by 10 foot as my, we would just make sure that this is just literally a checkbox to help out our friends at We Energies, and I would urge your approval. Thank you.
Okay, see no further questions. We'll vote on this electronically. Unanimous. Motion passes unanimously. Next on the agenda is communication from county executive, update on ag listening sessions. It's all yours.
Thank you. So I just wanted to take a moment to give you a little bit of an update on an initiative that started this week. We've been working on for the last several months. My hope was to get it going about a year ago, but this silly coronavirus happened. So we were able to finally get it kicked off in the last couple of weeks, and we have had one session already and have 2 more coming tomorrow. It's agricultural listening sessions, and we've invited between 100 and 150 folks throughout the agricultural community, not just farmers, but people in finance and suppliers to farmers, kind of the whole supply chain in ag. And we had our very first one yesterday at Rodin Echo Farms. I think I'm getting that correct. It was very positive. Supervisor Hartwig was there in his capacity as a farmer and had some good input along with about a dozen and a half additional folks throughout the industry. It was very insightful. As I explained to them, it's really mostly a downloading listening session. So I referred to it as mouth shut, ears open. Although they fired a few questions my way, only a couple of them were colorful. But it was a good opportunity for me to hear firsthand from that community. And in the coming months, my hope is once we've gone through all these different groups, to come to you and your standing committees with different legislative ideas that come from these. So the hope ultimately is that we'll take the information that we got when we're done with the listening sessions, ultimately create what I'm going to call an Agricultural Services Council with a handful of people on it, that we can start continual dialogue in the ag community. I want to take an opportunity to thank Supervisor Bishop, who was critical in the kind of the front of starting all of this about a year ago, maybe actually a little bit more than that already. We had a small listening session when mental health was at really a peak crisis in the ag community. And she and a number of folks that she introduced to the conversation, along with Supervisor Mary, who was part of that discussion as well, really helped to formulate what became the predicate for having these listening sessions. So I wanted to make sure you were all aware of what was happening. I have been in a few districts already, and I'll be in a few more of them in the next several days and weeks. And ultimately, we'll be reporting back as things move forward. So you might hear from a few constituents that we're having these, and maybe get a question or two. That's the long and the short of it. If you have specific questions, I'll hang around a little while, and you can certainly ask those. And certainly, if you have any now, I'd be happy to answer them.
Could you please share when those listening sections are going to be in the districts, if you have a calendar? Or several of my constituents are farm owners.
Sure. So we can get in touch afterwards. We have, I think, 2 tomorrow. There's one in the village of Richfield. Terry Cole, if anybody in here knows Terry Cole's Machine Shop. And then there's one in Allenton at Farmers Implement in the afternoon. And then I'll follow up with you if there with any additional dates.
Next meeting date, Wednesday, April 14th, 2021 at 6:00 PM. We are hereby